Okay.
And welcome once again to the Movie Stuff Show. My name is Dan, and joining me this week, Marty, Amanda, and Jamill.
So,
Hey.
I'm waiting for something to spectacularly fail because it's 9 p.m. and we started a show.
Hey.
Yay.
What was that, Marty? I can't hear you.
Oh, yeah. I know your poker face there. Come on now.
Do you? We haven't played poker in a while. It's been
That is
quite a
true.
while. Yeah,
And we usually would just cheat with each other.
it's a fair point. It's a fair point. So, don't play poker against us.
Oh, not anymore.
How's everyone doing?
Doing good, relaxed, feeling calm. Don't need to take any pills or anything today.
Nice segue, I guess. Amanda's already getting hit with the snow. It's coming for us. Jamil's like, fuck y'all. I'm in Atlanta.
First day of spring.
Yeah.
I know. As I've been dubbing it, Winter Part 3. It's like as if sequels weren't bad enough. It's like we had Winter 2, The Revenge, and now it's coming on Winter 3. It doesn't stop. These are just, I'm done with it. Winter, the first one was bad enough. You don't have to keep making sequels. Stop. Okay? On my springtime. What's the weather like down in Atlanta, Jamill?
it was nice and warm today. It rained a little bit, but no, when I walked to go get my son, the sun was out, the birds were singing. It was nice. The flowers are blooming. Oh man, it's really nice down here, you guys.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's that.
We still have better pizza and bagels. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have better barbecue. So you don't want to get in this war with me, Marty. You don't want to get in this war.
no, don't give me the barbecue.
Jamil, though, you were recently up in our area. What kind of delicacies were you feasting on up here?
Oh well, my brother and them, they live in Wallkill, but we did spend a whole day in the city. I went we ate in Little Italy. A bunch of like guys yelling at us about coming to their restaurants. This one guy said, "Hey, don't go to that restaurant. That guy, he's Russian and a Trump supporter. So you find black people should come here." Like, okay. And that's the restaurant we went to. It works for me. He could have been lying, but no. It was fun. It was like I said, I've been trying to get there my whole life. First place I went to go visit was the Ghostbusters Firehouse, and just worked my way out from there. But yeah, it was really fun. I wouldn't stay if I didn't have a family. I just would have been all responsibilities.
If you want to see the fake Ghostbusters house in the shitty movie, you gotta go up to Boston though, because they lied about that one.
I don't have a beverage.
Yeah, I'm drinking.
It's nothing in that.
Looking at our cast that we have on this week, if we were going to cast each other in the Ghostbusters, who would be who?
Oh, that's too easy.
I swear to God, if you stick me with Winston, we're going to fight. I swear to God. Oh, we're going.
Have you seen the second season of Stranger Things?
I have. Look, I was that kid. I was always that kid. People.
You're Peter. You wanted to be Peter Venkman, didn't you? You always wanted to be Venkman.
Look, I remember when we used to play Power Rangers, and they'd be like, "You be Zach." I don't fucking be Zach. I want to be Tommy. I want to be the hero. What the fuck? Like, no. Why? Well, I'm fucking Dan. Shit.
See, yeah, I have no problem being Winston because he had the right attitude. It's like, you pay me, I'll show up. I mean, honestly.
Now that I'm older, I super identify with that now. But as a kid, no, he's not even funny. He's not. He has the best line in the movie, but he's not even funny. I would be Vetman. Let's see here. Raid for Dan.
Wait, let me help. Oh, my hair's not long enough to do it anymore.
You're Egon.
I'm cartoon Egon, though. Very important with the giant curl thingy in the front. Do you remember that?
I'm convinced yes. course. I'm convinced that's who what you call was playing in the remake. I was like, that just looks like cartoon Egon's daughter.
Oh, the remake. Hey, we should rewatch that one of these days.
Oh,
No, never.
Annually.
not enough pills.
Marty, I guess you stop being Winston. Good luck with that.
Just as long as I'm not Melissa McCarthy, I'm fine.
You can be Leslie Jones.
You know, he probably deserves more hate on Twitter already. Marty deserves a lot more hate on Twitter. So, yeah, just like Leslie Jones deserved all that hate. Yeah, because the internet's filled with kind people.
That's why I don't fuck with Twitter.
That's how you're out of Twitter. Yeah.
I'll take all the interaction we can get on this,
That's
on this channel.
It's fair point. You know, it's out of the blue. Like we realized, like our Thor review just like started getting a whole bunch of views just out of nowhere.
Shot up like 1,000 views, and like I know the rental came out recently. I don't know if that could be it.
I have no idea. I can't even remember that one.
Some weird algorithm that.
I remember liking it. I remember I was like, yeah, this is a good movie.
Yeah, it was a me, you, I think Jamill and Nick were on. I want to say
maybe sounds about
No,
right.
I don't think I was on that one. I just think y'all didn't call me for that one.
We call you for all of them. I think Amanda was
No,
on it because we were talking about Thor
Amanda,
comic
Nick.
books.
Yeah, we swap out Nick and Jamill sometimes for reasons.
Well, I tried to get Leia on the show this week too. Leah. I tried to get Leah on the show too, just to have.
Because she looks like a pill person.
It's just, well, we joked is we've never had Leah and Amanda on at the same time, so apparently one of them is the alter ego to the other person's superhero. Now, I don't know which one's the superhero and which one's the alter ego.
I'm the evil twin. It's okay.
Well, Amanda has the glasses. So.
So does Leah, though. Doesn't Leah wear glasses?
No, I don't think she has glasses, that I recall.
Who wears the wig and who has the mustache? That's the evil
This is
version.
a full beard, by the way. This is just it's not a
That was
real
right.
beard. It's just glued on. It's to hide my true identity. I guess after.
Did you guys? Okay.
Good. I was gonna say after this, we should probably talk about the Infinity War trailer because we haven't done that yet.
Let's talk about this. Yeah.
We could also talk about this story on Twitter about somebody dying in a movie theater because they got their head stuck under a chair.
Let's talk about that as well.
That's relevant to our interests, right?
Should we just talk about that stuff first and then get to the movie? Because I feel like
we can.
I feel like we can talk about other stuff and then get to the movie. I don't think anyone's clamoring for us to talk about this movie. That said, we haven't talked about a documentary ever before.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in getting some perspective on things on this. So, okay. So Amanda, please, what happened?
The horrific incident took place at the View Cinema at Star City after the man dropped his phone between the gold class seats at the end of the film. He bent down to retrieve it. The electric seat's footrest clamped down on his head. He was taken to the hospital after the incident. Believe he died of a heart attack or a heart complication.
Oh, so it wasn't a clear.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's all the information I got from that article I just clicked on 2 seconds ago.
Where was this?
UK somewhere.
Oh, yeah, they do have they do kind of the tiered seating in England, where you pay extra to sit up front or something.
Yeah, well,
he paid already with his life.
That's like that. They would have those kind of deaths. I remember 6 Feet Under. Yeah. Every show would start with some kind of weird death, like someone would roll over their own head with their car, or I think one woman got hit by the shit that drops out of the airplanes.
So I'm interested. It doesn't say what movie he'd just seen, so we don't know if he died happy or not.
Fair point. Yeah. Oh, that'd be awful. Imagine just saying, "Man, this is a terrible movie. I'm just gonna leave. I dropped my phone." That's
right.
it. And that's it. That's the end of your life. You see Ghostbusters 2016 and you're dead.
Could you?
Like, how do you tell people how your dad died if that happened? I don't think I can go through the whole thing. I would just say heart attack, right?
I mean, at that point, Poodle was dropped on his head. I'd rather him be the Poodle man than,
I don't think I could tell people that story. Expect them not to laugh in my face.
War hero? You just start lying. It's like, listen, died in Iraq. I mean, at that point, just
Not
like,
as a soldier or anything. He was just
no,
there
he was there. He was there
at the movies.
He's in the movies in Iraq, and
He died watching the new 50 Shades of Grey movie.
it was a autoerotic asphyxiation. All right,
Oh,
there you go.
I
That's
think
how
that's
Daddy
better.
died. Yeah.
I would take that better. Like, all right, well, at least he was, having a good
At least
time.
he was just a pervert. Yeah, I could deal with that. He wasn't a
At
moron.
least he died doing what he loved.
Oh God. Yeah. It's like Kill Bill way, right? It was Carradine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how there are theories though, but who knows?
Mm. Some deep state stuff going on with the Carradine.
You know what?
Death.
That is such a sad story because like he was on a comeback, and it's just for it to end like that. Like after this big comeback, it's just I don't know. It's just weird. There's just it's just one of those things. It just like of all the ways to die.
Hey,
But then
we're not here to judge.
You're heading the seat.
If we were ranking deaths, yeah, I mean, this
That
death is
I still
That
think
should be
running
your next-
over.
That should be your next list episode.
right.
Well, we could. I guess we can do the. What are those stupid movies?
Stupid.
Final
No. Those
Destination?
great movies. Those fantastic movies, the Final Destination movies, yes.
We could rank all the
amazing.
horrible deaths in those movies. I suppose.
Yeah.
We did rank the deaths. What
We did.
movie was it? Jigsaw. I think.
Jigsaw, yeah, we ranked
Yeah,
those.
ranked how horrible those deaths were.
Yeah, so we did do that.
Okay, yeah.
I've never
Forgive
seen
me
any of
for
those movies.
Any of the
You
Final
must have seen
Destination?
some of the Final Destination ones.
I haven't
No.
seen any of them.
Wow,
Really?
wow.
Sorry.
It's got
Been on a dare you see one on USA once.
Abe is rolling over in his Canadian grave right now. He's a huge fan of Final Destination. I was talking to Abe today, and he's telling me that so far he's liking it in Canada, except for he can't get an iced tea in a restaurant. They have no idea what
Really?
iced tea is.
Interesting.
It's kind of like that in the South too. You get the sweet tea, but you can't get like a regular
Just like
lemon iced tea that we have.
No, we don't do that shit here. It's
Yeah.
sweet or nothing.
Why would you want regular iced tea when someone who knows how to make sweet tea is available?
Well, I enjoy the iced tea at the Dunkin' Donuts with the lemon. So
Well, that's your
That's
problem right
different.
there. You go Dunkin'
Yeah.
Donuts.
It's America, baby. Dunkin'
Damn
Donuts.
right.
America runs on Dunkin'.
Running
Come
on
on.
No, Krispy
No,
Kremes.
New England
I'm-
runs on Dunkin'.
That's true.
That's a fair point.
We don't even have a Krispy Kremes anymore up here, really.
No, really. At Penn Station, they still do. Right?
Yeah, you want to go to Penn Station to get donuts with me one day?
Yeah, why not? But see, that's the whole thing. We have all these like boutique kind of donut shops,
Yeah.
right? Like I mean, it's these fancy donut shops. Which I'm not gonna
Rainbow
lie,
unicorn puke
Listen,
donuts that you have to wait in line for 2 hours for,
Fruity Pebble
and you
donut.
do it because you love
Come
your
on.
daughter.
Yeah, that's right. That's damn straight. A Fruity Pebble donut.
It's all right.
It's true. It's true. All right, so guy dying. What a way to start the
Sorry.
show. Let's move
The
on
best I could do.
to
I'm sorry.
let's move on to hopefully happier topic. All right, Infinity War trailer. New one came out. What everyone think? Jamill.
God damn it. Knew you was gonna do that. I seen it. I immediately spent $113 on tickets.
Woo.
Wow.
Yep, that happened.
Just maintain your phone in your pocket at all
Yeah,
times.
do not get your head crushed. Don't do
I
it.
was pretty
There's-
hyped for it. I gotta say,
There's 170.
People can talk. I mean,
There's
No, I'm
a
saying-
170 millimeter. Oh,
That's the thing with these movies coming up. It's this one, Solo and Deadpool. I think there's one more. It's gonna be tough to pay for prime seating for all these things. It's gonna get a little pricey after a while. These 4 movies in a row.
oh, the hell with Solo. I'll go see that bootleg. No, I'm just playing.
I mean, even a Star Wars guy might have to downgrade that one to IMAX or something. Just save $3.
Amanda.
I am pretty excited. I recently went back and rewatched the first Avengers movie. and was reminded of how they were able to bring in all of those different characters. And at the time that I saw the first Avengers movie, I hadn't seen any of the standalone. And so it was just nice to have a reminder that it's possible for them to throw an ensemble cast together and you don't have to know everybody's backstory and you can make it work. It doesn't have to be like Justice League. So I'm fairly confident that they can get us something fun and that it will at least feel kind of like it'll kind of feel like a fun comic book. So that's what I'm hoping for. Not necessarily going to make sense, not necessarily going to be like super, super rewatchable, but it's going to be like, while you're there, you're going to be like, yeah, the whole time.
Marty, you excited?
Yeah, I think I'm like everything you said. It feels just like, wow, they're doing all this shit. It's we've been seeing the Thanos character for whatever 10 years now, I think, and it's just like it's all coming together. It's just like the Justice League movies. Just they have all these big characters, but it never just feels like that holy shit kind of moment.
Yeah.
But these trailers, like, oh man, Iron Man's talking to the Guardians guys, and fucking Captain America's fighting Thanos, and it's just like holy, it's just gonna be crazy. I don't know how they're gonna get it all on screen in 2.5 hours. I don't know how they're gonna have it all make sense, but I think we're gonna have a death pool at some point before the movie. See who we think is gonna die or not. But
nobody's gonna die for real. I don't think nobody's gonna.
I mean, no one's gonna die for real, but people will die in this movie and be suddenly back by the next one somehow.
Well, I was really, really interested in Thanos has some line about like wanting to kill half the universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the balance.
I think Gamora says
and
that.
I was like, are they gonna not go full comic book on here?
Nope.
And they're not. So it's not going to be that he's in love with the booberific skeleton personification of death and is trying to like. No, I was kind of hoping they'd have the balls
to go all the way.
It's a comic book. We just had a Thor Gladiator Hulk movie with Led Zeppelin music. I want Thanos to be in love with a skeleton lady that has boobs.
If they introduced her in that movie, I think it would have worked, but to put all this shit together in 2.5 hours and introduce a whole new storyline that we don't know about, I think would be...
No, that's the whole storyline. Thanos is in love with death, and that's why he's killing people.
Look. If you ever read the Infinity Gauntlet, you see, this is Infinity Gauntlet, and everybody, that's what this is based on. Everybody loves Thanos because of it. I think that shit make him like a bitch ass nigga personally, because he's doing all this shit for a broad that could kill less.
Bitch ass.
Don't do it.
He snaps his finger, half of the universe go out, and she could have cared less. And in the end, she betrays him and he cries.
If they have any balls, that's how they end
shit.
This movie. If they have any balls, they end it that way.
He's so thirsty.
Snaps his finger and then that's it. Fade the black. Yeah.
If they have any balls, they'll do it that way.
I think that's
knowing that the next one's coming in a year. And that Doctor Strange will do his fucking spinny thing, and it'll all be gone anyway.
Well, yeah, he'd have to get his stone back, because you're assuming that he's going to lose his stone in this. And we already see. So the main parts of the trailer you mentioned, see a great moment where Thanos swings down and like Captain America grabs his hand. That was cool. You see Black Panther's sister working on Vision. Possibly, probably trying to bring him back after he gets his the Mind Stone taken out of his head. I like the interaction between Peter Quill and Iron Man, where it's like there's a great plan, only it sucked. So let's do my plan. I really like the Spider. I like this version of Spider-Man. I really do.
I feel like he has the mask off too much.
Yeah.
Every scene, the mask is off.
But I like that interaction with Doctor Strange, where he's like, "Hi, I'm Peter," and it's like Doctor Strange. He's like, "Oh, we're using our fake names. Hi, I'm Spider-Man." Like, it's just, I criticize a lot of these Marvel movies for the forced humor, and it feels like since Whedon has been taken out of the mix, that the jokes are less like forced on you. It's like, see, that was funny. right? Right? That was funny, guys. Wasn't that a funny joke? Like that's Whedon's humor for the most part is like it's like okay, you made a joke. You don't have to tell us that you made a joke. We get it. And I feel like even in Thor Ragnarok, that's kind of how it was yeah, you know, it was less of this hammy kind of forced humor that we're used to, and starting to be a little bit more genuine. The moment is calling for this humor, you know.
Are we really gonna put that at Whedon? Because he only directed 2 of these movies. Like out of like the what are we on 19 movies?
He only directed, but he was involved with the writing process and the review of scripts throughout a good deal of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So he had his hand in it as much as Kevin was it Kevin Feige? No, Feige. Yeah.
Well, whatever his name is.
I was mixing him up with Feige that did Ghostbusters. Since they have the similar names.
Don't make that mistake.
No.
We're losing Jamill in and out.
Yeah, he keeps flipping in and out. It's because it's so hot in Atlanta right now. He's having a heat wave. It's like 105 degrees down there, so the internet's blipping in and out.
I seen that trailer and I immediately said I have to see this on IMAX. There's literally only one IMAX 70mm IMAX theater in my state. It's 2 hours away.
Oh, see, up here where it's snowing.
If there's any movie I'm going to see, what was that?
We have many options up here in the cold Northeast to go to the theaters.
So many IMAX. Yeah. IMAX on every corner.
Without hitting IMAX.
You go into a Starbucks and there's an IMAX in there. Like seriously.
I believe it. Y'all have everything. I believe it.
We got to shovel our way to it, but
yeah, that's right. That's right. I have expectations. I do. I have expectations for this movie. Now,
will it make more than Black Panther? As it Black Panther now in its 4th week at +1, surpassing 615 million, I think.
My assumption is yeah. My assumption is it'll do more than Black Panther.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna have.
We lost Jamill. Come on, there he is again. I think it'll do more than Black Panther. Plus, Black Panther's in it.
True.
He's in it. If he wasn't in it, I don't know.
This will do more than Black Panther just because Chinese people will go see it because it's more white people than black people, so they'll definitely go.
And an Asian. We got an Asian in this one. Come on, an Asian guy.
Who's the Asian guy?
Doctor Strange's buddy.
She's dead.
The dude. The big dude.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah.
He's on the poster. He's on the poster and Hawkeye isn't.
That's some bullshit with the Hawkeye stuff.
The Asian dude's on the poster.
One commercial so far.
Oh God!
Completely disrespectful.
Poor Hawkeye. That's my favorite character. I really want to know what's going on with him.
Hey, that guy's got a family.
Kind of get the impression like he was like grabbing ass behind the scenes, and they kind of know it, so they're just hiding him from out of view. It's like there's gonna be a scandal with this dude. Renner's been ass grabbing. We can't put him on the poster.
Oh, definitely. You could tell he said just the most fucked up shit. But that's why we like him though. Like that's part of his charm that he's kind of sleazy.
A man is not Jeremy Renner. No, not him.
I can't say for sure anymore.
All right. Got a movie to talk about. Take your pills. Brand new Netflix documentary came out last Friday. I was scrolling through the movies that were coming out, and this one looked interesting. It's a topic that I guess. Listen, I knew this stuff was out there. I didn't know how prevalent it was. I saw jokes about it in like Silicon Valley, which they referenced in this movie as well. Is the overuse of drugs such as Adderall and Ritalin, and how it's become just kind of like setting the norm in many colleges, and mostly Ivy League schools or high pressure schools, and then in the tech industry with developers. And I found it fascinating is that you equate it to sports, right? You really do, and for a longest time, the athletes who were doing steroids to get the competitive advantage, and you almost, it's like, well, I kind of almost have to do this just so I can stay competitive with these other athletes that are taking performance enhancing drugs, and this movie kind of focused a good deal of time on that, like talking about the competitive nature of why kids are taking these drugs. Also went through the kind of the history of amphetamines, and they completely left out the 1980s Mets from this conversation, because a great story about the Mets is they used to have 2 pots of coffee in the clubhouse. One was decaf, but that was actually just regular coffee, and their regular coffee had speed in it. So you'd watch these Mets games, and any 9 inning Met game, or like short game under 3 hours, or 2 hours and change, like those Mets were just like blazing. They were just unstoppable. But once it got into later innings, or if it went into like extra innings, they were dead, because their speed ball, everything was just like wearing out for them. They just no longer on speed anymore. So I don't have any experience with Ritalin or Adderall, or know what that's like. I was joking. I was like, listen, I did things the old-fashioned way in college. I drank a shitload of coffee. I drank soda. Maybe the occasional Jolt Cola if I was feeling it. So when it comes to like thinking of like focus and trying to get something done, staying up late, it's like, yeah, to me, it's like back in my day, I had to drink some coffee. What do everyone think about this topic and this documentary in general? Marty, I'll start with you.
I would say, judging it first off just as a documentary, I really enjoyed it. As you said, they talked about different perspectives. They went through college kids, young and old, preschool, all the way down to grade school and beyond. They had a football player, like you mentioned, the sports aspect of it. They had Wall Street people, tech people, doctors, lawyers. They focused on one person who was just, I think, a music agent of some kind. So it gave you so many different perspectives of the drugs, and they were right. They gave you all the numbers you needed, stuff like that. The one issue I really had with it, though, was it very little on the side effects, very little on what this, I maybe I missed it early, but I didn't hear the word addiction until like the 50 or so minute mark. No talk about what this. They would throw out words like, oh, liver issues or some possible psychotic things. Never any kind of studies on what it was doing to long-term effects on livers. Or I know there must be someone who went went nuts on one of these things and created. They never gave any examples on that. So it was very much. It was almost pro Ritalin and Adderall at times in this movie, because everyone had their story, and most of their stories came with, yeah, I know it's probably not great, but I'm not going to stop, and I don't see any problem with it. And doctors that they put forth were either way. Some of them were against it, some of them were for it. So by the end of it, you didn't get any kind of real. It's a problem. We're over medicated as a society. They compared us to other countries, and but we knew all that coming in. They made some good points about how I think we focused too much on the opioid crisis, and there's one doctor saying, this one is just underneath that. So I liked all that information. I just think it was a little lacking on the side effects and the other side of tragedies that may have happened because of this.
Yeah, I mean, they touched upon it with the football player, talking about what his experience with it, and then why he chose to stop.
Well, he was a weird thing, and that shows how stupid some of our drug laws are, and even the rules. He was okay taking Adderall, I believe, and then he ran out of that once, and he took the Ritalin, and then that was not okay for some reason. The drugs are the same thing basically, but one was okayed by the NFL and one wasn't, so he got suspended.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Is when they mentioned the trade, right? Like it was like Facebook groups of kids just like, hey, anyone got some Addies and stuff like that, and how just they don't realize that it's illegal what they're doing, right? I mean, it's a legal drug trade. People's like, oh, I got some extra, Xanax, or I got some extra Percocets or something like that. And it's like, here you go, right? And they don't realize that it's all of that. It's just as illegal as selling weed or selling crack or selling any other drug, but it's pretty much like found to be acceptable. You know,
Yeah.
Amanda, what do you think?
Um, it was interesting to me to see that this documentary was more of like a character study and not really attempting to be objectively informative about the issue. Because, like you said, they didn't really outline too much the actual biological response or the side effects or at the very end, they reference one study which showed that the perceived benefits of the drug may be the only actual, attributable effect of
Right,
taking the
right.
drug. That it doesn't actually make you smarter. It just makes you feel a little more confident and relaxed, so you think you did better, or you're happier with your performance. So I mean, I would have preferred something on like the more informative side because people are boring and feelings suck. But uh, I do think they did a good job because the first part of the documentary, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so bored. I don't care about boring white girl who went to college and took Adderall. I'm like, I know like 100 of those people. What am I watching? And then they did manage to give different points of view on it. So I thought that was well done. My favorite part of the entire thing, though, was the one doctor whose voice sounded like Gilbert Gottfried. And every time he started talking, I got really excited that there was actually a celebrity cameo about to go. It was never him, though.
Maybe it was Jared Kushner. Jamill, what do you think?
I think this documentary, I did enjoy it, but I also think it's one of those cases where they wanted to make an interesting documentary instead of being informative. Like, Amanda actually took what I was going to say because, like,
Sorry.
as I was watching, that's fine. Because while I was watching, I was thinking, they act like it's a limitless pill. Like, there has to be dumb motherfuckers taking this and not doing well. Like, where are those people? Like everybody that seems to take it seems to do really well. The shit seemed really attractive. Like, and like they mentioned addiction, but then it said only some people get addicted. Like, no, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are addicted to it because it's a fucking myth. But like, yeah, it just seemed like it was more interested in entertaining than actually even giving you anything that's, like I said, it didn't seem that bad. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it didn't seem that bad. It didn't show any of the consequences. Like I said, it seems to go out its way for the fact that nobody dumb seems to take it, and like they seem to ask no real questions. Like the guy that was the black guy that was like the Hollywood like power
Yeah,
broker with the
yeah.
Nick Cannon and stuff. I was like, why didn't no one ask him? Was you already successful before you started taking this? Because apparently he started taking it until he was an adult. So you didn't need it to this point. Why do you feel like you need it now? And nobody asked those questions of these people. And I feel like it felt almost like a fluff piece in the odd way.
Yeah, it's funny too. Is I think across the board, and Marty started it off, uh, somewhat glamorized. It's somewhat glamorized the Adderall and Ritalin to a degree, where it almost is like it's like, yeah, we know that there's probably some bad things going on here, and in fact, like to use a pop culture reference, it seemed like something out of Harry Potter Part 6 with the good luck potion thing that Ron takes but it's not actually the potion. He thinks he's taking it, so he does really great because he thinks he's on this good luck potion, but he's not actually not. But in essence, like, I didn't walk away from this saying it's like, okay, this is a major issue. This is, it felt like it's like, yeah, this is an issue. But I didn't feel like it's like, yeah, this is an epidemic. I think that's where the movie kind of failed. If that's what it was trying to achieve. I don't know what this movie is trying to achieve. And I enjoyed it, and it was an enjoyable documentary. But the documentaries that have stuck with me throughout time had a message to achieve, right? And you walked away from it like feeling impacted by it. I remember, seeing Al Gore, And it's like, oh my god, the world's gonna end. Why are you telling me this, Al Gore? I feel terrible. Like, I promise I'm gonna recycle more. Um, and like, and granted, I did leave that Morgan Spurlock movie and went right to Quiznos and had myself a nice Quiznos sandwich after seeing him eating all those Big Macs. But I still I was like, I can't eat McDonald's. I'll eat a Quiznos. They got
They have a pepper bar.
So at the time, any coupon worked. So I walk away from this and I didn't feel impacted by this. I feel like there's plenty of other issues out there that are a lot more serious than this, and maybe this is a serious issue, but this documentary didn't really paint it as such.
Too many smiling faces. Yeah, I noticed that too. Everybody seems to be smiling all the time.
It's almost like a fucking Prozac movie. Like
I was just about to say that. It's like everybody was on real as they were talking. Maybe they were, but like,
probably.
Yeah,
I did notice in a few of the interviews, a few of the people seemed obviously distracted. And I was wondering if that was like kind of to punctuate, just they were like searching for words, and they'd stop and they would stop and try to find the right word. And I was like, you did not take your medication right before your interview about not taking your medication. Got it.
Well, it was weird. They did that at the end, too, when one of the doctors was trying to make the point was one of the anti-Ritalin people, and trying to make the point about how, because we're always people taking the pills, they don't take the time to just think about things or be creative or just, stop and not care about anything. And it seemed like, I don't know what they were trying to do with it, but she kind of stopped to try and find the right words, or she forgot what point she was trying to make for a second. And instead of just editing that out, they added it. They kept it in there, making it look like, well, if she had Ritalin, she'd remember what she was supposed to be saying right now.
Yeah.
That
was weird. That was fucking weird. Like, what are you all saying? Like,
yeah, I find it interesting too when you think about there probably are cases of people that have a disorder that actually does need this medication, right? There are those people that genuinely have some kind of issue and probably maybe kind of need this. And then it's just like, but in order to get a prescription, you just be like, yeah, squirrel. It's like, here you go. Yeah, the barrier to get this prescription seems oddly low, right?
Yeah, well, it seems like this medical marijuana, you just got to go in and say you're anxious or you got back pains or it's
or like
another thing too that I know is like even like for the nefarious part, the music was like real jaunty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they was talking about how they rebranded it, like so they could sell it to kids like in the 60s. Like even the music seemed happy then. I'm like, no, this is fucking terrible. Like this is informative shit. Like this needs to be handled with the weight and gravity that it should. That they like a drug company rebranded this shit for children.
Right.
But it's not treated with that weight.
It was crazy in that they told a story in the beginning of this shit. You could just go, the doctor or the drug company would go to the goddamn principal and say, hey, I want to do this study. And the principal like, oh, great, come on, bring your pills in. It's like...
They even showed the Simpsons clip, right? Yeah.
That annoyed me too, because they showed Simpsons clips, but they didn't... The point of that episode was that it took away Bart's whole personality. Mm-hmm. And they never got to that part. Mm-hmm. They just showed the couple of jokes that they threw in.
Yeah.
And they did the same thing with Silicon Valley, and there was two other movies they were showing too at sometimes. One was Limitless, and some other movie I didn't know what it was. But they never really showed what those movies were saying was that by the end of it you're fucked up and you've lost your soul.
Which is true.
But I mean, we're all gonna lose our souls anyway, so who cares?
Well, I mean,
we are in America where Trump is president, so this whole country's going to hell. So.
Can't lose what you never had.
Oh my God, yes! Can we talk about the electric unicycle guy? Thank you so much, Aaron.
I hated him. I really hated him. And then he started putting up the Star Wars stuff, and I was like, oh shit.
I saw him on his electric unicycle, and I said, Aaron, I would clothesline that guy. Like that's what I want to do to him. And then he goes into it's like, yeah, people yell at me and, they go say, hey, geek, and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, deservedly so,
And he was like,
asshole.
"Oh, it's only in
Electric
San Francisco I would
unicycle.
hear that." It's like I was like, "No, everywhere else would just be called
No.
asshole."
Yeah, you're on the electric unicycle here in New York City. Someone's going to open a cab door right in your face.
It's one of those things where, like, everybody's anti-bully, but you look at somebody like that, all you want to do is just intentionally bully them. Just all you want to do is just give them a fucking wedgie, like, just like fucking dork.
And even him, it sounded like he was talking about some of the things he didn't like about it, and maybe he was going to stop. But then he was just like, "Oh well, I got this Google job, so I guess it worked." It's like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, I don't think my college experience wasn't that tough, right? I coasted through. No, seriously, I coasted through college.
We went to
college. I coasted through college. There was, very little times I had to like pull the all-nighter or work my ass off to get something done. So I'm not. I was never in that high-pressured situation in college. But in my professional career, there's been plenty of times where I've been put in just high-pressure situations where it's just like, all right, I just gotta focus on this damn thing. I gotta just get shit done, and I've got a tough deadline, and yada yada yada. You know what I do? It's like I don't talk to people. I don't check my phone. I don't check emails. I don't respond to things. I focus in on the task at hand, and I get it done. And it's simple as that. And if I'm tired, then I drink some coffee, drink some soda. It's as simple as that. So to me, to say like I don't have any frame of reference of I've never tried Adderall or Ritalin before.
At the same time, I'm sure you know of people working that were doing certain things to stay up or stay going.
Oh sure, yeah.
Right. I'm surprised they didn't do much comparisons to cocaine in this. They talk about slightly, but it's more about methamphetamines and stuff like that. I was surprised because back in the '80s it was on Wall Street. We saw it in the movie Wall Street and then Wolf of Wall Street. Of course, you did a bunch of coke and you stayed. You just worked like crazy.
Yeah, but I think isn't that the difference between the drugs in this is not only do you have that ability to kind of stay up longer and it has that speed element to it, but it's also designed to hit certain receptors in your brain where you are focusing. Whereas cocaine, it's more just like, yeah, I got a lot of fucking energy. I'm going to do a lot of shit. I'm going to do shit fast. And you need this done, it's done.
I was glad they went into those two other we'll call them nice guys. That oh, we're gonna find the herbal way to do it, or they're selling the same shit that Alex Jones sells with the ears full of food pellets you can use. So, and they let those guys go too. They made it seem like they had the right idea to sell these just sell it to everybody. With those bullshit dietary supplement pills they were doing, and there was no comeback against them. That we've seen thousands of studies that those pills that they sell over the fucking TV are bullshit. Well, and they just let those guys go like they're entrepreneurs of some kind.
Do you guys remember Stacker? That was like a diet pill in the I guess it was late '90s or early 2000s or something like that, and it was essentially just like speed. It was low grade speed. And I remember trying a Stacker and just like I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna do some push-ups or something like that. I'm ready to go, and that's
it lasts 5 minutes.
It lasts 5 minutes, and that was it. And this is just the culture that we have, though. Is it's just like it's like, oh, it's an herbal supplement, so it's okay. It's like, no. No. It might be even worse for you because it doesn't need FDA regulations if you consider it an herbal supplement, and that shit always bothers me too. It's like, oh, it's all natural. It's like,
really?
Fucking cocaine's all natural.
Heroin is all natural.
Heroin's all natural. Fucking poppy seeds. Come on.
Heavy lead is all natural. Liquid mercury, 100% natural, pure atomic mercury.
To quote George Carlin, dog shit is natural.
Yeah.
I found it really weird that they was making jaunty old timey songs about these drugs.
Yeah.
Like, it was really catchy. I need those on CDs.
I think they were implying that was the kind of music you would make when you were on those drugs.
And riding an electric unicycle.
I think they were trying to say that like the popular culture of that period was so heavily influenced by those drugs that's like what everything sounds like when you're on them, and that's why we think of ragtime music as being like from the 20s, is because they were all on.
Who was it? Charlie Parker.
Charlie Parker. They showed. Yeah, I thought.
I mean, jazz was heroin and fucking coke. It wasn't, pet pills.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's a good deal of amphetamines, going on there. It's like nice madness to it.
You guys as parents, there was a couple of heavy focuses on parents of kids with this. Did it, strike you one way or the other?
It made me worried, honestly. But I mean, there's plenty of stuff to worry about with my kids. You look at the United States of America right now. There's there's plenty of stuff for me to worry about with my kids, and the fact that it's like, oh, I brought 2 kids into this world, and here you go, enjoy. But it made me think that, like, if it gets to the point where every parent thinks their kids are smart. I think my kids are really smart. And if it's ever to the point where they're in a hyper competitive situation, I hope that they realize, like, this is not worth it. Fuck it. I'll take the B. I hope they realize that me as a parent, like, I'm fine. Take the B. You're weird, fine. Right?
Like, as the other parent on this show right now, it's like, maybe I shouldn't push them so hard. Because like you don't want to do that to your child. You want your child to be the best they can be. But fuck, man. Those kids was like, it's nothing is never worth that. Like, number one, you're never gonna get where you're going to get no damn way, whatever you're trying to do in that high pressure situation. The best you can do is upper middle management, wherever it might be. It might be a bank or something. But more likely you're not gonna be a CEO of a company. So why the fuck are you killing yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like the one guy now, they was stockbrokers.
Yeah.
That dude had a seizure. But I'm still being asked for those papers as I lie here.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, no, it's not worth it. Like, why? Like, it just, I don't know. But yeah, it does make you not want to, like, scare your kids. You know what, son? If you want to go to trade school, that's okay too.
Now listen, I just had to get the brake pads and my rotors on my car redone, and I paid a nice sum of money to my mechanic to do so. If my kids one day say, Dad, I want to be a mechanic, I'm going to be like, I fully support you. You can be a mechanic. You can go be a plumber or an electrician. And anytime I got something fucking wrong, I'm going to bring you over to my goddamn house and you're going to fix it. I'd be fine with that.
I recently paid $200 to a man to come to a house with a metal detector and tell me there was no oil tank there. And he had, I think, 10 more houses to do that day.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to college.
No.
Honestly. And in your spare time, walk around the beach. Maybe you'll get something.
Yeah, right. Just spare time. Find some gold doubloons.
Well, there were the other parents. There were the parents that were worried about the grade and stuff like that, and then there were parents who were just need their kids to calm down. So that was a weird kind of juxtaposition, because the kids that wanted to just focus kind of regretted it after a while, but then the one mom was like, I just wanted them to be normal. It just felt creepy.
It did, like, listen, that shit's tough. Like, I have 2 very hyper. Marty, you've met my kids. They're 2 very hyper kids. Not to the point where I'm worried that they're because they're not destructive. They're not they're not bad kids, but they're hyper. Like, I have to chase my kids around like all the fucking time. My wife spends half her day, chasing kids around, and we only got 2, right? There's some people out there that have 3. Those maniacs.
Those people.
But I couldn't imagine if I felt like my kid was like really, really hyper crazy, and like medicating them and it's taking away who they are.
I just feel like there's ways of, like, again, I think there's societal pressure, because let's say your kids are super hyper and they may need something. Let's just say that's a hypothetical, right? But there's other ways around that. Maybe they're just not meant to be a doctor or lawyer, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if they're hyper, maybe they shouldn't be a doctor or lawyer. Maybe find something else for them. If they got a lot of energy, put them in the sport. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
right.
You don't have to give your kids drugs to make them settle down because you don't want to kill what's inside them.
Yep.
You don't. You just don't. I'm sorry. Like, it's not worth it. There's ways around this. Like, this is my thing, right? Humans have been on this earth for a couple of million. Motherfuckers got by without it before.
Yep. Yep.
You know, this is a phenomenon in the last, 40, 50 years? Like, you know, civilized society been around for a while now. We got along fine without it. I think we still can.
Yeah, I totally agree with that point. There's so much stuff. I mean, technology and everything is just it's going so fucking fast nowadays, right? Before you can blink your eye, there's a new software and application.
It's also because you're getting older.
Am I becoming that old crotchety man? Am
Yeah.
I like shaking my fist at the lawn?
You were yelling about the Skype changes earlier this evening.
Well, I mean, everyone should yell about the Skype changes. Get the fuck out of here! Come on.
I agree with you.
Is that though? I'm becoming just old. Is that it?
Well, the rate of change is going to seem relatively faster, like as you get older, anyways. Like, I mean, I get home from work and I go, man, this week has been really, really long, and it's still only Monday night.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I go, you know, hey, it's been like 3 months. What happened? So time gets weird when you're older. I don't think we're the best judges of how long it's been.
Fair point.
Since something happened anymore.
Am I still the only one that's seen Shape of Water here?
Yeah, I haven't seen Shape of Water yet.
Yeah, sorry.
There's like a whole dynamic.
I'm waiting to watch it at home in the comfort of my own living room.
It's available now.
I've heard it's a sexy movie.
It's available now for rent.
Okay.
But if you're waiting for yeah, maybe tomorrow's the day. It's a snow day. Maybe it's maybe it's time for the husband to get his waiter's tip tomorrow. Watch some Shape of Water.
Yeah, watching some fish boning. Yeah, that's because nothing. Yeah, that's.
I only bring it up because there was a point of that movie where it's set in the 50s, and I think in that time, on top of the racism and all the other horrible points of it, there was a sense of looking to the future with like excitement and wonderment, and wanting to see what happens. And I think this generation that is all hooked on Adderall and whatnot is just nervous about what's coming next and want to get ahead and make sure everything's okay. And we almost fear what's happening around us. So there's this whole other dynamic.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. I mean, I started reading articles about what jobs you should start training your kids on right now, and what jobs are going to be available for them when they're older. And I mean, it's all machine training, machine learning, AI programming. It's all it's all those things that are just like, oh, this is what you should really start like focusing your kids on right now. And it's like, who the fuck knows? Who knows what's going on in the future? But that's kind of where we're at right now. Is I can understand that, right? Is the job market has changed so much where not to say that you could survive on retail jobs, but I knew people years ago that would become retail managers, and they'd be fine, right? Like they could have a fine existence as a retail manager. Those jobs are gone.
Oh,
yeah,
God. The stores are gone.
The stores are gone. The jobs are gone.
Rest in peace, Toys R Us.
Oh, brutal. Yeah. So I mean, there's going to be fewer and fewer jobs and more people. I mean, and it's a bad recipe.
But here's the thing, though: it doesn't have to be like that.
No.
The infrastructure of this country is kind of falling apart. You teach people.
I mean, look at Jamill's wireless.
And they're not. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Marty. Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
you were making a great point. We just couldn't hear it.
Yeah, that's a great point. But I know you're totally right. There's jobs out there.
Oh, but we got to bring back coal and lie about that shit for another 20 years, and then
and then kind of do the whole cut off your nose to spite your face type thing, right? I mean, it's like, oh, let's put tariffs on steel and aluminum, but that's going to cost us jobs in the manufacturing and automotive and all that. Yeah, great, smart. Yeah. This isn't a political show, but I mean, it all kind of
all kind of.
It's all together. I really was uncomfortable with the black mother saying that her child was better on it I was like, maybe he's not, but maybe he's so medicated that when he's off, he does dumb shit because he don't know how to act. When
Man,
just
when he was
just
in that
normal
doctor's
state.
office, there were points where you saw that kid in the doctor's office, and where he just looked like he was zoned out. Like maybe, hopefully, he's just nervous on camera and with a doctor, maybe, but he just looked freaking dead inside half the time. And,
Yeah, I mean, I say this now because my kids are both sleeping. I think, knock on wood. Yeah, I wouldn't want to change them. I wouldn't want a lesser version than the kids that I have. Right? I wouldn't want something that's I even think of like my in-laws have this dog, and this dog has issues, and the dog is super hyper, and they've had to put him on medication, and he's a nice dog, but he kind of just sits around. Right? He's a dog that just kind of sits around. Because if he wasn't on his medication, it's just like seizure medication and stuff like that. So it's stuff that he needs, but it's just like,
So I do have to take the counterpoint a little bit.
Please do.
Which is the notion that all mental health problems can be fixed without medication isn't really helpful because a lot of them can't. And the idea that when you're taking something, you really become a different person. It's not necessarily any different than you are after you've had a cup of coffee or a beer or something. So, like, I definitely understand you guys are talking more about like long-term completely changing like your pattern of behavior and your overall personality versus actually taking a substance to help you cope with a specific mental health problem. But yeah, I'm just like, because there was one of the girls in the documentary was trying to make a point, and I think she made a poor word choice because she was saying that everyone taking the drug and people being like, oh, I'm so ADD. She said that it normalizes it. No, that's good. You want to normalize mental health problems so that people don't think there's something wrong with you. But she was trying to say it trivializes the problem. And makes people think that it's not like a serious issue. I mean, there are different types of ADD and ADHD. And I wish that they talked about this a little bit more because like I have a friend who was diagnosed as an adult. And his problem isn't that he can't focus, it's that he can't choose what to focus on. Like, he could go into a grocery store and spend an hour reading peanut butter labels. Not productive. He clearly needs something to, like, change how he's thinking. I know this guy, Ritalin and Adderall did not actually help. They just made him feel like he was doing a better job. But I just want to throw out there that was kind of the nuance that this was missing was like, no, like there are some people, I mean, depression's probably a more common example. There are some people who legit need medication to change how they're thinking.
Like bipolar disorder, like I mean, honestly, right. Bipolar needs lithium. Like it's a medical fact.
Right, and then there are also a lot of people with really, really similar symptoms who can manage them in completely other ways. But that nuance was completely missing from this, and you're left kind of with this impression, like you said, that it changes who you are, and people were really concerned about that. And I was a little disappointed they didn't get into that more, but I mean, they also didn't really get into the specifics of what it's used to treat because they were just talking about pills. They weren't talking about the disease.
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
The focus became too much about, I think, the casual use of it and the need for, the stockbroker to stay up for 12 hours, so they all just do Ritalin, or, the coder needs to stay up for 2 days straight, so he takes Ritalin. They didn't focus much on, kids who had problems early on and what their story was. They could have done a different movie, but I think they just wanted to focus on the casual use and the almost commercialization of it all.
I mean, to go to Amanda's point, I think the reason that it lacks nuance because apparently handing out the drugs lacks nuance because anybody can get it. I think that's the problem. Like it's it's easy to say that there's not a problem. Like, not that we were saying that, but it's easy to say that there's a problem because they give it to everybody. Like, there's no like serious test to see who needs it. So
Yeah.
you never know. So now it just seems like don't nobody need it if everybody needs it, because obviously
Right.
that's not the damn case. You know, because like you said, there are people that need it, but again, like it lacks nuance within the medical community. So like
But
that's the problem.
that's almost everything with even opioids. There are people who do need painkillers because they're in a lot of pain, but there are other people who just take it because my back hurts a little bit, so let me pop a couple pills so I can get to sleep.
I tell
And
you,
it's same thing with medical marijuana and everything.
Yeah, when I had surgery last year, and the nurse came and was like, "Would you like some morphine?" Yeah.
Oh yes, oh hell
Yeah,
yes,
please,
yes,
please, I would. Thank you. But I didn't go
Oh,
home and say it's like, all right, time for me to get some morphine in me. You know. Yeah.
when I had surgery last year, also they gave me pills, and I was just like, yeah, I can't take this shit because like I know what this leads to. Like you know, you have to be that person to be like, I've seen too many crackheads in my life. I'm gonna put this up in the cabinet.
You put it in the cabinet, but you
So
gotta.
you're saying you have pills, Jamill.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta
Yeah.
fulfill the prescription, because you never know if the zombie apocalypse is gonna hit, or some kind of end of world scenario where that shit becomes currency. So you fulfill the prescription and save that shit, because it's going to become gold one day. That's
What
the next
exactly
cryptocurrency.
are you preparing your daughters for?
It's the crypto.
I mean, be honest with you.
Trump's America.
I mean, honestly, if the apocalypse really do come, if I choose between dying in a fiery death or overdose, I'm gonna take the overdose.
We have
real.
just been very, very optimistic about everything in this episode, and I think
if the apocalypse hits, I choose death by theater seat.
That is the callback right there.
Oh, I think that's it. We're gonna end. There's nothing that's gonna beat that. I'm gonna end. So I'm gonna throw this out there. We're gonna talk about Blue Chips next week. So
the movie with
Blue Chips with Shaquille
Oh
O'Neal
my God.
and Penny Hardaway.
Oh shit.
So we're gonna talk about Blue Chips next week. So whoever wants to join us, just let us know. Just hit us up. We'll have you on.
In honor of the Final Four.
Final Four. We could have done Hoosiers too, right? But I mean, Blue Chips is more fun.
Funny.
It's funnier, especially because
why do a good movie? Yeah, do Blue Chips.
Blue Chips. Well, in celebration of Penny Hardaway, he just got hired as the coach of Memphis. So congrats on him. And to Shaquille O'Neal, who wanted to be an Academy Award winning actor, and Kobe Bryant beat him out and won an Oscar before he did.
Oh, that had to dig at him.
So we're gonna talk about Blue Chips. So yeah, all right. That's next Tuesday, 9 p.m. ish Eastern Standard Time. We'll talk about Blue Chips. If anyone wants to join us to talk about it, let us know. I invited Abe, but apparently his internet is terrible in Canada where he's at right now.
It's also a big gambling movie, and he's a big gambler.
Yeah. Yeah. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to us here on YouTube, follow us at Movie Stuff Show on Facebook and on Twitter. Follow Jamill on Instagram. What is your Instagram? You have
Jamill 3000. I just mostly post my toy pics there.
That's
and
exactly
your
right.
Facebook action figure.
Yep.
Yeah, Action Capture, Jack Random Show, all that
Jack
other
Random
stuff.
Show. Yep. You guys.
I just posted a picture a couple of days ago that I was really proud of.
The Captain America one.
The invite care. Yeah.
The Flames.
Cool. Yeah, the Flames one.
Yeah.
Jamill does good stuff. No, seriously, it's funny. There's an art to it. There really is an art to it. It's comic book framing. It's photography. There's an art to it.
I wanted to be a filmmaker, and obviously that didn't happen. So this is the only way I can get that shit out of me.
If you had taken Ritalin at a younger age,
yeah, you'd be a filmmaker.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, like Quentin Tarantino, he takes all type of shit to write those movies.
No. Quentin Tarantino is where they get the pills from.
That's right. Just tap into his vein. It's like, Quentin, we need a little bit of juice to make these pills.
But you think about it, right? And like, as a person that wanted to be a filmmaker, I looked at all my favorite directors. That's not Steven Spielberg. Like, yeah, they're probably all on fucking drugs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, damn, maybe I'll never be successful in this Because I don't like to get high.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Follow Amanda on Twitter. Her mission cat. Her mission cat. Her mission cat.
Like a Hermission matrix.
Yep. And on Twitter, look at her walls. On Twitter.
Yeah.
On Instagram. On Instagram, look at her walls. People that watch the show will get these references.
I would hope so.
Yes.
All 19 of them.
So yeah. Is that many?
All of our moms.
All of our dozens of fans.
Yeah.
Hey, look, on the Jack Random show, we done the 40 downloads, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself this month.
Hey. Good stuff. Good stuff. You guys got another episode cooking up?
We are recording one tomorrow. Tomorrow's Jack's birthday. He'll be 75,
Happy
I believe.
birthday.
Oh my God!
What?
Oh.
He'll be
Wait.
75, I
Wait.
believe.
He's
Really
Are
don't
you
crack.
joking?
He's turning. He's got like 60. Is he turning 60? Is that it?
Yes, he is.
60?
Oh.
70?
No,
70?
Yeah,
You're right.
I'm
Do you not even know?
I
Don't
don't
crack.
believe any of this.
But we're now available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Music. I'm trying to get those on Spotify. You know, just trying to get the show out there.
Good. We got Jack on.
Yeah,
Haven't had
it's been
Jack
too
on
long.
in a while.
I've got
Talk
softball season coming up soon, so I might miss a few, and you get Jack on.
See if you want to get the whole crew on, Jamill, sometime. Kyle, Jack, you.
It'll be a great crossover.
Yeah.
Almost as great as Infinity War.
So, hey, for our Infinity War, we should have like 13 people on this show. The stream would be just so struggling at that point, but we should just have everyone on.
Everybody has to plug in for that episode.
And then just randomly people just get dropped off the show. They die, right? And then we just drop them off. And whatever Skype makes our screen look like is what happens. So with that, thank you, everyone. This is fun. Always like having you guys on. And we'll have you on again soon. So adios. Bye.
Bye.